You're watching another Nerd Stalker interview. Welcome to another Nerd Stalker interview. Good afternoon or good evening. This is Greg Vorhies, aka Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. Today I'm pleased to talk with Zach Vorhies and Murat Ozkan of Zackees, live from San Francisco. I guess you guys are both in San Francisco right now on Google Plus Hangouts. So Zackees, as you know from our interview in December, is a new concept in bicycle safety and a new twist on bicycle gloves. We're kicking off our new segment here.
It's live, by the way. Nerve Stalker is live if you guys want to tune in.
Yeah, Kickstarter Unboxed segment, which we're highlighting existing and post-Kickstarter entrepreneurs and their stories. So a little bit about Zach. Prior to starting Zackies, he was a software engineer at Google for 5.5 years, where he was known for integrating Google Earth into the Audi navigation systems, specifically for the A8 and other car lines. And a little bit about Murat. Murat's a senior design engineer at Nuvation Research Corporation and studied engineering in Canada at the University of Waterloo. So anyway, good evening, guys. Thanks for joining us here on Nerd Stalker Live from San Francisco.
Let's go,
Great to be on the show.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you again, Murat. Twice already now. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, let's jump into it and talk about Zackies and the Kickstarter campaign. So you had about 792 backers, and you doubled your funding goal, I believe. And then, so give me some of your initial thoughts about the Kickstarter experience for a product like yours.
I'm sorry, was that question directed to me?
Anybody, yeah.
My videographer is currently leaving right now, and he was messaging something.
Got it. Okay. No, anyway, so give me some of your initial thoughts about the Kickstarter experience, Zach and Murat, and
Sure.
whoever wants to answer that one. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I loved the Kickstarter experience, and it taught us a lot about the product that we didn't expect. When we launched, it turned out that we had a design problem with the glove, and we found out about that within probably 3 days. Wow. It was like, okay, we have to do something. Like, we kind of thought that it might be like an issue at the beginning when we launched, but we're like, nah, these things are great. And the problem in itself was the orientation of the arrow. Okay. So what happened is that it was too perpendicular to the arm bone, and so a left-hand turn could look like a right-hand turn from the front.
Oh man, really?
Yeah. So
yeah, that was a tough one to kind of understand. It's one of those things where it's like hindsight is 20/20. It's obvious now. At the time, it's something that we acknowledged, and we just made the wrong judgment on it. We thought that it wasn't going to be an issue, that the turn signals themselves were so much more intuitive than the hand signals that it wouldn't matter. But it's still tough to know whether it was really like a consistent opinion or whether it was kind of vocal minority that kind of spoke out against it and made it.
Well, I think I want to add, I think there were trade-offs. It was like the version 1 gloves that we launched with were definitely better for signaling in front of you, which is what we were trying to optimize. And oh, wait a minute, we lost somebody? No, there you are. And we thought that signaling in front would be really important, but it turns out that there was a vocal minority that were very much into all aspects of legality when being on the road, and so they were like, hey, this could be a bad deal, and they were going on Reddit and some of our forums, and so we're like, okay, that's it, we got to mobilize, we've got to change the design.
And that counts, that was humbling. That was like, okay, like it's the user testing and the beta testing is something that we couldn't really do during development. It was something that we should have put more of our time and effort into. But yeah, you learn that the hard way. It's much more difficult to make those kinds of changes once you've committed to a design and a plan. But we made them. We made them on the fly, and things went a lot more smoothly after that.
So was that was it the major one that you guys discovered, or any other?
That was the one that sticks out, yeah, by far. Like otherwise it was fairly smooth. I mean, that was pretty much the big sticking point, the unexpected kind of hiccup, But yeah, I mean, overall, we're quite happy with it.
We recovered. I mean, we're a small company.
Oh, yeah.
There's not much inertia here. We just we looked at all this stuff and we realized that most of the problems were coming from like 1 second of film in our video. And so instead of like reshooting the whole video, we just allowed the inconsistency where most of the gloves shown were at the right angle, and then when the guy did a really right-hand turn when he was trying to signal left, but his arm was like, I'll just show you, like it was like this. We took that out. It was like 1 second. We took it out. We had him go like this.
Wow.
And that got rid of like 90% of our user complaints. That were just telling us the same thing over and over.
It's amazing, and you know, we could do some interesting stuff. Like now, there's a lot of the analytics that you get with with YouTube videos and on Kickstarter itself, and we were able to make use of that to kind of tweak our approach and kind of tweak our presentation and the way we presented the gloves and the features and all and the company and all that kind of stuff. So we had a really interesting experience there too. I mean, I remember Zach showing me all of the curves, like all of the kind of, on YouTube you can see a plot of the interest level of people that are watching your video.
Finance, yeah, that too.
It's crazy.
All these numbers to like analyze and like trajectories and you know, if you look at the formula that I use roughly is take a Kickstarter's top trending day. Like how much would they go if they were just to continue with that? It usually happens in the first 3 days, and then you divide that by 3. So if something's, and that's divided by 3 and divided by 4, and that's going to be your range of your Kickstarter. That holds true for like most of the Kickstarters that we've seen.
Wow.
And so it's like if you're in your first 3 days and Kickstarter says you're trending at like $333,000, you're probably going to make more like $100,000 at the end of the day when all's said and done.
Okay.
Sorry, go ahead, Greg.
No, I was curious. How did you guys get the word out on your Kickstarter program? Did you hire a PR agency, or did you just have a bunch of friends who were into PR that did it, or how did you guys do that?
We used a PR firm. They're called PR Hacker.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. I think that's how I got in touch with you guys originally, actually.
Yeah. Ben Kaplan runs that. He's famous for like he got all these like grants because he's super into research, and he got all these grants and he pitched a book about PR, and so now he's got a PR firm, and he really smart guy, a really good group of people.
Do you feel that was a big component in getting to where you needed to be?
Well, yeah. Without the PR firm, we would have not had any real traction, and we wouldn't have been able to make our funding goal of $35,000.
I'm not convinced it always goes that way. What we saw in our case was there's a direct correlation between like a big media hit and just the Kickstarter backers like ticking up. And after that kind of died down, it just went quiet. It was very bursty. It was really weird to see it like that. It wasn't quite the steady stream of people, and it didn't really like crescendo really until the end. And like you start strong and you end strong, and in the middle, it basically like however many articles you can get about your idea and your design, that's kind of, there's a direct correlation to people backing you. So that was kind of interesting to see. And we also noticed, you know, it's definitely not like a set and forget type approach. You never like set your first page, get your first page up, then you go live, and then you just kind of wait for a month. We found ourselves very active in managing that and curating it and tweaking it, and we changed the video a few times based on the response it got. It was very active. It's a very there's a flurry of just like, okay, now how can we optimize this? How can we make this more appealing? Like, what are we missing? And we're always trying to search for that thing that's going to get a better response. Like, it's very, very much an optimization right to the last day.
Your Kickstarter page is a living, evolving organism. Think of it like a Tamagotchi, and you got to feed it, or it's going to get sick.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the people just go for that first burst, but they don't make a consistent effort to keep on having people talk about them. So
there may be projects where that works. It's just that like Kickstarter is still a mystery to me. I don't understand how it works, how their algorithms work for getting you attention. Like we weren't really, you couldn't find us on there for weeks. It was really only the last week that we started to show up in different groups and categories other than San Francisco, which was a little disappointing. It was kind of confusing. I still don't understand. It may just be that the Kickstarter nowadays it just has so much volume, so many projects and people that it's impossible to find a specific thing. I mean, like overall, it just felt like rolling the dice.
I think
tricky.
when I look at Kickstarter pages now, I definitely start from San Francisco outwards. So
Okay.
I filter it down to a city.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe that's valid.
And then I go outwards from there. But it's not a. I agree with you guys. I think there's a lot more people on Kickstarter. I think with just great stories like yours, there's going to be more and more people who want to at least give it a try. But there's some products out there I see like they stay at 5% for a long time and then suddenly they start to tick up. So
well, it's a big deal of it is how does Kickstarter direct traffic and whether they're going to direct traffic to your site. And my friend launched my friend Trina Chiasen. She has a data visualization company, and she launched at the same time we did. And at the end of both our campaigns, we looked at like the percentage of traffic. We had similar finishes. She was at 55,000. We were at 72. But the interesting thing was that our graphs for how much traffic, our pie charts were inverted. So she had like 75% for traffic being driven by Kickstarter itself. And we had about, I think it was like, at the end of the day, around 12% of our traffic was driven by Kickstarter.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still a mystery. I don't know how that even works.
Well, I mean, the only way I can explain it from that standpoint, it's a word of mouth thing then.
Could be.
That could have happened.
No. They just didn't promote us. That's the end of the story. They never sent email with a link like, oh hey, check out Zackees turn signal gloves.
Right.
I'll tell you what they did. What they did send out though was this board game about bicycles. And it was kind of funny because it's one of the things I've noticed is that they have a trend towards really featuring the arts, like whether it's like a movie or and also they seem to have a real big love with board games. In fact, in the bikes category, the entire time that we were on there, the thing that was ahead of us was like this board game around bikes, and I think it grossed a total of $10,000. But it was like the day that when we closed, we never had an email hit, but I got an email hit like the next day, and it was this board game, and I could never believe it. It was like people were coming to our page and say, yes, this is really good. We had lots of external traffic, but they never bumped us up or decided.
It was purely PR driven. It was the article comes out and the backers start to find us.
Yeah.
And then once that article starts to like lose its steam, so do the backers. It is very direct, the correlation.
Wow.
Yeah, the traffic is very clustery. It's like when I could feel in my pocket when we had just got a media hit, because every single time a buyer buys one of the Zackees turn signal gloves, then I get an email, and that email like vibrates my phone. And so I just be sitting there walking, and I like and then it's going like once every minute, and then it just quickly peters out, and then nothing for like the rest of the day or something.
Wow.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Huh. So anyway, you guys are on your way to production right now, right? So
we are. We're in the thick of it right now. Yeah.
So when's the actual launch date?
Right now, we're targeting April-May timeframe. Probably closer to May right now, the way things are looking. So it's just all a process. Our product is pretty unique in that it combines two very distinct kind of domains. So there's the electronic side, and then there's the glove side, the fabric side. And we've designed it so that you can keep those separate for quite a while. There's just one final assembly step where they come together. So one of my main responsibilities right now is to get the electronics design production ready, which means cost optimizing your bill of materials, validating that new design, designing a test fixture, validating that design before you start to test actual boards, talking to contract manufacturers, getting volume quotes, that kind of thing. Trying to track to your schedule, making sure everything's still going the right direction.
No, in fact, that's a lot of the issues that you read all over the net on, about Kickstarter campaigns is just delivery, right? People
Yeah.
get the successful campaign, but a lot of them can't deliver. But sounds like with your Murat, with your experience and Zach's experience on just engineering, it seems like you guys would have not that issue, but you just never know, I guess.
Yeah, and it's all a matter of trying to take calculated risks. I don't expect it to go perfectly from start to finish. I know that there's going to be things that we need to learn from, and we've tried to build that in. We've taken a number of steps to mitigate those kinds of issues, but yeah, so far so good. That's not to say that everything's going to be rosy. There's always that risk. That's kind of the thing that keeps me up at night. There's always that risk that something goes crazy and you have to deal with it, and we'll deal with it, but yeah, we'll see. Until we've shipped that last glove and we haven't gotten another one back for the next 2-3 weeks, it's still going to be kind of like I'm going to be on edge a little bit.
Now, can people still order through your website gloves?
They can. And we just did an overhaul of our website, so it's a lot easier to navigate and nicer to look at. We had kind of a stopgap website just to keep the momentum going. But yeah, they can. You can pre-order through our website, Zackees.com. And it's the same deal as Kickstarter. You basically put in a pre-order, and you'll receive the gloves in the same build as the Kickstarter build, which is going to be about April-May timeframe.
Got it. Wow, that's cool. So anyway, I guess we'll close off this interview unless you guys want to talk more about the Kickstarter thing. But
we can talk for hours about Kickstarter.
Yeah, we'll do that over drinks next time. But
sure,
we'll do it offline. But anyway, how can listeners get a hold of you, and how they could get more of the Zachy gloves on your website?
Zackees.com is a website. We've got a big pre-order button there, so you should be able to just click through that and purchase it like you'd purchase anything online. The only big difference is it's the Kickstarter model. So as I said earlier, we're building them right now, and it's going to be a few months yet before we ship them out. You can get a hold of me through my Zackees email. It's m@zackees.com.
And I'm z@zackees.com.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for the interview. I really appreciated your time.
Of course.
And I know, that. So actually, I'm sorry. I wanted to touch on one thing. I forgot to touch on this. Is the Shark Tank thing, right?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Before we close, let's talk about that. So you guys are going after Shark Tank, huh?
Yeah. Well, I think that this glove is something that the sharks would really like to sink their teeth into, and so. I went to an audition in Atlanta, Georgia, about a month ago, and just did my pitch. And they said, "Hey, let's." They sent me an email right away saying, "Come back," with the video interview. And so I was able to. And so it's like, "Hey, we want to make this really great video, but we don't want to do it ourselves because we're not the best at that. That's not what we do. That's not our strength." And so I reached out and found a guy who had done reality TV shows in Hollywood, and he's a friend of mine. He's an avid cyclist, and so he really came and helped us get that video really tight and like and helped us write the script for what we had to say.
So how
like
long
a video contestant? Oh, it's only gonna be like 3 months, 3 minutes. So
3 minutes.
It ain't gonna be that long, but we basically hit on certain points and kind of give them like an angle. If they want to pursue that, it just give kind of like say, hey, this is what we are, this is what we're about, and give them glimpses of other things so that they can say, maybe we can take it this direction or that direction. But basically give them enough information to make that decision. And San Francisco is just a quick drive up from LA. They can get the production crew out here perhaps and film us if they decide if they wanted to do us. So we're really trying to make it so that the Shark Tank crew could say yes to us really easily. Wow.
So I think you've probably thought this scenario out, but if you ever got up there, are you really thinking about giving up a lot of equity for this, or have you thought about some of this stuff?
It depends on the deal.
Yeah,
I'm sure. No, I was just kind of wondering about that. I like I said, my roommate and I watched Shark Tank all the time, and we just like, wow, some of the deals are just incredible, and some of the offers on the table are just incredible, you know. And how much are you willing to give up a part of your company for the deal? I guess is the thing. So, but it sounds like, I mean, you know, you guys seem to, you know, I mean, when I talked to Murat last month, it seemed like, you know, the gloves are just the first step, right, Zach?
Right. Yeah.
So
We've got other products that we're working with right now. So
yeah, so
um,
it's more than just a you know, a bicycle glove play. It sounds like it was a whole wearable tech thing. So
Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
yeah, okay, well, cool. Well, thanks a lot. Anyway, I'll let you guys get going. We'll close off the interview. Again, thank you for your time. I appreciate that. So that was Zach Vorhies and Murat Ozkan of Zackees, keeping bicyclists visible and safe. So thanks for joining us, everyone. This is Greg Blair, AK Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Soccer Media Network, where we believe in tech, startups, design, and you. Thanks for joining us, everyone, and be careful out there. Thanks, Zach. Thanks,
All right.
Murat.
Thanks, Greg.
thank you
All right,
very much.
all right,
All right.
man.
Bye.
Take care. All right, bye.
Bye.